I paid $10,000 in home property taxes about 6 months ago just to find out that my escrow company was already paying my monthly taxes. So here's an update as to what happened to that money. I was silly enough to not know when I was making my mortgage payment every single month, escrow company was paying my property taxes for a small amount of money every single month. What I also didn't know is that the property taxes company sends you a bill at the end of the year, even if the escrow company is paying that money for you. Last year at the end of the year, I got a bill for $10,000 for home property taxes, and I thought to myself, let me just get this over with, let me pay this money and just get it out of the way. Talked about it here on TikTok. A lot of you guys were like, are you sure you're supposed to be paying that money? Because a lot of escrow companies actually pay it month to month. And I thought to myself, wow, my monthly payment is already really expensive, and on top of that I have to pay $10,000 every year. Home ownership is really pricey. You guys actually helped me figure out that I wasn't supposed to pay those $10,000 and that I just paid double for that year. Here's the update that everybody's been looking for. I received a check from my escrow company a couple of days ago that sent me the extra money that was in my escrow account. And what that basically means is that my escrow account is paying my monthly property taxes every month, and that money that I sent 6 months ago was money that they didn't need from me. So what did they do? They sent it back in the form of a check. Now, I know there's a lot of people who don't know what they're doing when it comes to home ownership, aka me, since we're first generation homeowners, but hopefully somebody can learn from my mistakes.
Well, you guessed it. We're talking about property taxes today. And some folks are surprised. Some folks are, in her case, first-time homeowners. And she thought she was supposed to make another payment at the end of the year. Because here in the U.S., depending on your county, city, but for the most part, you have to pay property tax. In this situation, she has escrow. It's important to note that this is on a, I'm assuming, residential type of real estate or mortgage loan. So escrow ties in your mortgage payment to the bank. It includes the interest. So typically they call it P&I with the bank. It includes your property tax. Also includes homeowners insurance. It's up to you. But for me, I actually elected just to do principal and interest with my bank. The insurance I pay separately, and the property tax I pay once a year in our county, and it hurts. Based on where we live, I live, my family lives, you definitely have to plan for it. It's a big chunk out of the year, but we budget, we plan, we do what we can. The reason for that, for me anyway, I would rather have more cash flow month to month than have a bigger payment that encompasses those 4 payments month to month. So for me, it works out, and our family, the way we budget, that's how we do it. One also reason I didn't do, because my previous homes, I did escrow. And I would notice that they would take more than the aggregate amount of those 4 counts, right? So at the end of the year, I would get a check back, similar to her situation, of the overage. I'm like, well, I can make better do, where I can budget better if I was paying the exact amount of what I'm supposed to pay, and I'd have more money on a month-to-month basis. So I did away with that. I learned my lesson, and now that's how I do it. All right, let's go to the comments. You're the reason I was able to get our money back. I made the same mistake as you. There you go. See, these TikTok videos help out. If you just bought, keep it for supplemental tax bills. If you didn't, save it for a shortage. For me, your local loan officer girly. All right. Tip: save that check for future property tax bills, because what they tends to happen is taxes rising each payroll. You may eventually have an escrow shortage, then your mortgage will go up. There you go. All right, let's go to the next one.
So you're telling me that if I buy a house 30 years ago at $50,000, but the city develops really well and now the value of my house is at $2 million, you're telling me that I have to now pay taxes on $2 million, even though I have never seen a dime of that $2 million? I have not sold my house. This is not an investment property. This is where I live, and I chose to live, and I hoped to live for the rest of my life. But now you're telling me that I either have to sell my house or lose my house? because I can't afford to pay taxes, and the taxes are probably more than what my mortgage was 30 years ago. You're telling me that if I give this house as an inheritance as a senior to my children and I pass away, they will either have to pay those property taxes for the rest of their lives, or they risk losing the house that I have worked so hard for all this time. Property taxes is a scam. And I understand that it pays for education and it pays for teachers' salaries, but I think we need to find another way, because homeowners are losing their homes every single day. If you look in the tax lien website in your state, you're going to see how many people are losing their homes. They probably paid those homes off. They probably have paid the majority of their mortgage, but they can no longer afford to pay taxes. And their mortgages go up. And if they have already paid it, now they have to pay this for the rest of their life. Or they risk losing their home to some investor that is going to buy your house for whatever the tax amount was that you couldn't afford, but they can. We need to start fighting against property taxes. It needs to either be regulated to stop going up as much, or it needs to be stopped altogether. We're paying for money for our education. Like, there is a leak somewhere. This is too much. If everybody here owns their home and you don't have enough money to pay for the teachers' salaries and the education, then there's something wrong in the government and we need to fix it. So
that is her opinion. And she puts, so you're telling me I love property taxes. Yeah, she kind of broke down what property taxes primarily are for. Schools, yes, a big chunk of my property tax goes to the school district. Roads, so within your city, your municipality, goes to fix up those potholes, any maintenance on the road. New roads, so it goes for that. Police and fire. If you're ever in a situation where you need assistance from law enforcement or fire department, that is what your property tax is paying. And local services, city hall, all the personnel that city running, that's where your property tax is going as well. That's how the city makes revenue. So let's go to the comments. That's how most seniors lose their home. Yikes. Let's go. There's 34 replies on there. Let's just take a quick peek. Sold mine for undervalue just to get out. Sold in May, still had to pay for the entire year. Felt like a double screwing. Yikes. Are you serious? Wow. That ain't right. Florida is getting rid of property taxes. I live in Texas. Hopefully Texas follows suit. That would be awesome. 52 replies on that one. They are other ways. They're not doing much funding for our schools anyways. We have to bring all the supplies and teachers get paid crap. So where's the money going? Facts. I have 3 kids, 2 in elementary, 1 in middle school, at least at the time of this video. At the year, we have to provide supplies for all 3. Yes, it can be a lot. And throughout the school year, as the supplies run out, we get the emails from the teachers. Hey, could we, get 4 supplies, Kleenex, paper towels, and then for art classes, sometimes like paint, those things. But we do. This is facts. We still have to fund those supplies. Huh? We pay from our work too. Scrap these taxes. Put your house in a trust and make your kids the beneficiaries. They won't have to pay any capital gains tax. Simply need to end property taxes. There you go. All right, let's go to the next one.
I just owed $15,000 in taxes, and I just cried about it earlier, so let's talk about it. For this tax season, I actually file under a content creator or influencer, and I've been influencing for the past 2 years now full time. And let me tell you, the amount of money that I made this tax season compared to the last tax season is significantly different. Last year, I only paid $1,000, and this year I owe 15 times as much, which I'm so blessed and I'm so grateful. But when it comes to tax season, 100%, these are things that you should do as a content creator, and that is save a portion of your payments that you'll get so you can go ahead and save up for tax season. And here's something that a lot of people do not tell you: when you work a traditional W-2 job, you cannot do tax write-offs. But when you're doing content creation or you own your own, you're able to tax write off a lot of things actually. And one that I actually did not know is rent. So the apartment that I'm wanting for this year, I actually get to tax write off a percentage of it because one part is going to be my office space. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. If you're wanting to get into content creation and influencing, digital marketing, anything like that, just do it. Trust me. And do not let taxes scare you.
There you go. So, heard it from my content creator in terms of her income and how she's getting taxed. I would recommend always tax advisor or CPA or bookkeeper or enrolled agent, because everybody's situation is different and everybody's income is different. So I would just kind of throw there, consult a professional, your professional, before kind of taking all these recommendations on TikTok or social media or wherever else. But I like how she kind of broke it from her perspective and her experience. Number one, know your tax bracket 100%. So that is going to be dependent on the income that you make on a yearly basis. Use a paycheck calculator before accepting a job. In this case, she's, I just speak a contract worker. No, not even. Actually, I'm sorry. I take that back. She's not 1099. She runs her own business. So, no paycheck. Whatever revenue she gets from AdSense or TikTok or wherever she's getting her revenue or money from in terms of her creation, affiliate market is, she has to account for that because taxes are due every year. And I think what's important to take away here is financial literacy is the antidote to surprise. So previous, I think she mentioned to prepare. I think last year she said she was a little bit taken aback. This year she wasn't because she was prepared. And it's just a bad experience. So having good experience, learning from those experiences, not just continually experiencing them doing the same outcome, but learning from them will prepare you better. All right, let's go to the comments. Girl, yes, I had to pay $35,000. It was my first year making money, and I wanted to cry. That's a lot. Wow, you must be doing really well. I cried when I owed $40,000 from an Etsy business. Yikes. Well, if you're owing that much, you're making a lot too. So it's all about distribution, budgeting, like she said, being prepared. Girl, I paid $36K crying. My lawyer helped me open up an LLC that files as a S Corp, less taxes. I would just purchase $15,000 worth of things and try to write it off. Food, clothes, living space, internet, cell phone, etc. That's what I did and got money back. All right, some people are getting money back. Consult your tax advisor, professional, whoever. All right, let's read one more. Interesting. These are really good tips. Thanks for the tax reminder for next year. All right, let's go to the next one.
Wait, Sarah, what's wrong? What are you talking about? Literally everybody has to pay taxes.
Why do I have to pay taxes?
Well, you live in America, and they only take like 50% of your pay. It's like,
But I worked for it. Why do I have to?
it's what you do in America. You have to pay. It's okay. I know. Just make sure you just report how much you make. And why are you crying about this? It's really not a
Well,
big
because
deal.
I just didn't know about taxes, but now I do. Why did not anybody tell me that they take so much?
It's not that much. Everything's gonna be okay, alright? Just go to sleep. It's okay.
How am I supposed to sleep if I'm gonna be homeless?
She is through it right now. She reminds me of my middle daughter. Every time she didn't get her way or she gets a tantrum or something happens, she's so dramatic. It kind of reminds me of that situation. That's what happens. You gotta pay taxes. What's actually being taken out, right? Federal income tax, that's taken out. State income tax, if applicable. Here in Texas, we don't have state income tax. There's also other states like Florida that doesn't have income tax. Social Security and Medicare, that gets taken out. This is if you're on W-2, right? Well, it still gets taken out. Employer benefits, if applicable. Health insurance, retirement contribution, etc. So in this situation, hopefully, I don't know, she didn't say the job. But if she is getting benefits, I mean, you're stealing from you. The government's stealing from you. It's just taxes. When it comes to your paycheck, the government's first in line. And then you get what's called a net, right? Your net pay is the totality of what you made during that pay period. That's the gross. Government gets their cut. And then your net pay is everything after taxes, benefits, 401k, or retirement. That's what for you. So hopefully she'll get over it. I mean, she's young. I'm assuming there's going to be a lot more years to her working career. So better to find out now than, I guess, later. All right, let's go to the comments. The taxes emotional hit happens at least once a year. Facts. Creator, I can't believe I had to do this every year. Yep, believe it. Usually you get money back from the government, honestly. Depends. So it's really your money. The refund is just you overpaid in taxes and just the government got to benefit and spend month to month because you were overpaying on your election, on your W-4. So again, consult your tax advisor, professional. But really the goal should be at the end of the year, you don't owe anything and the government is not asking you to pay for anything. Should just be even. And this is just if you work one job. If you have multiple sources of income, that should be the goal, is to just not pay anything. LMAO, land of free, but with taxes. Oh man. Take as much deduction as you can for anything. You lower your taxes, dear. There you go. All right, let's go to the next one.
Hello, I'd like to pay my taxes. Okay, how much I owe? I don't know. Okay, but what if I give wrong amount? Federal prison. I do not wish to go to federal prison. Okay. Okay, what I need? All the forms. Great, which ones? Yes. Okay, here's the 25600 form. That is not the right form. Okay, then which the right form? Yes. How can I now send the payment? Mail a check by owl. I do not have an owl. Okay, I have an owl. I will now mail form by owl. We not get it. I mailed 3 weeks ago. No. Okay, your payment now late. I will submit payment online. Okay, enter email and password. Okay, I entered password. Password is not correct. Yes, it is. Reset password. Okay, I reset. Could not use your old password as your new password. So my password was correct. Okay, I now payment. Amount not right. Okay, then what the right amount? Still not enough. Okay, I will new amount. You will now have 10 seconds to submit correct payment. Okay, and what will happen if I don't submit in 10 seconds? Hello.
It feels that way. It really feels that way. She did it comedically, but like sometimes it's that way. Oh man, that was good. That was awesome. If you know how much I'm supposed to pay you as a government, what are we doing? What's the gotcha? We should have it automated, in my opinion. Hopefully, if a government official or whoever's in tax as it relates to IRS, can you just automate that, please? What are we doing? It's ridiculous. All right, let's go to the comments. Laughs in European. You miss the, bitch, what a fuck? How am I going to do this? Yes, enjoying how US is making things easy for its citizens while clicking accept on the pre-filled electronic form from my eGov website. Wow. Jealous over how much easier America is while my tax is automatically taken from my payslip and I have to do nothing at all. Well, lucky you. Lucky you. Turn 18 in February and we'll have to pay taxes next year. I don't know how to do taxes. Why don't they teach us this in school? That is a good point. That's why I love reading these comments. It just is you in on what's really happening in the U.S. This is hilarious. All right, let me read more. Why can't a little man or woman come to our door saying, "Hey, pay this amount right now, or you have 3+ weeks to deliver"? There you go. That would be cool. All right, let's go to the next one.
We get taxed on all of our income, on every paycheck. And then we get taxed on everything that we buy. Food, clothes, bills. And then we get taxed once a year when tax season comes around. We have to pay taxes again. You have an overwhelming number of Americans who are angry that all of their money is being taken from them without anything equitable in return. We have unaffordable and inaccessible healthcare. People cannot afford food without any assistance. The list goes on. And then you have people come on this app and call them freeloaders. And really it is you, the I hate freeloaders crowd, who are the most pathetic out of all of us. You pay just as much money as we do to also not get anything fair in return, all while the billionaires pay nothing to get way more than they need in return. You refuse to direct your rightful anger to the actual freeloaders who you are helping freeload, the billionaires. I don't know how else to say it, but you are under spells, people. Open your eyes, freaks.
All right, we have another opinion here, and apparently she has a vendetta towards billionaires. I get it. It seems like why we're paying all this and for right. Sometimes it's not easily visible in terms of the benefit of what. But for instance, when I was talking about earlier in terms of property taxes, how it goes to fire, law enforcement. In those types of emergency situations, hopefully it never happens to you, but if it does and you have to call for those type of services, that's what it's there for. For the roads, if you are in a highway, either you're walking sidewalk or you're in a public transport bus, or if you're driving your own vehicle, that's what it's for. So I'm not saying, it's a perfect system, but for the most part, I understand why we're being taxed. It's, for me, the way I justify it, it's part of living in a community, in a society. We contribute in our own way, and if we have an income, we pay taxes for the things that I use once I step out my door, even in my house for my property tax, right? If I need things, people will come to me in cases of emergencies. So it's just part of living in a community. And then in terms of the billionaires, I get it, right? It seems like it's not fair. But, these also create opportunities and jobs for everyone else. And not everybody can be, obviously, a billionaire. Not everybody has that drive, or nor do they want to, right? But because of these folks, they create so many job opportunities and so many opportunities in general. Sometimes not even for America, but just the world, right? And that's what I have to say on the billionaire aspect. All right, let's go to the comments. Didn't the U.S. become a country because they didn't want to be taxed by the British? There you go. The Boston Tea Party, right? Well, not just that. It wasn't just the Boston Tea Party, but that was one of the tax reasons. Not to mention, you have to pay to file those taxes. Not all cases. There are some in terms of the federal tax where they do it for free. They even transmit it for free. Taxation is theft. We all need to collectively stop paying taxes. Try it. Bet you they will likely garnish your wages. The government, Uncle Sam, Unks, we all got that same uncle. Uncle Sam will get his money for sure. I also pay property taxes as a homeowner. Where the F does our money go at this point? It sure as hell doesn't go to the American people. Tell me why a billionaire can deduct his business party yacht, but I can't deduct the interest I pay on my car loan. Actually, I think that is being worked up by Congress to where we can. I'm not 100% sure, double check, but I think that's in the works. All right, let's go to the next one.
Why do we expect so little from our government officials? Think about it. We elected these people into office in order to do a specific job, right? They ran on platforms, they made all these promises, they said that they would reach all these goals. And half the time, none of them reach even 10% of a goal that they've stated would achieve. So why would we continue to elect these people into office? Why are we not holding them accountable to the promises that they've made? If you or I were to walk into any company requesting a job and we promised that we would increase revenue, say by 100%, 150%, or say that we would show up to work on time, or we would hire the best of the best talent, or we'd be able to do whatever the job is that they're seeking, and then 6 months down the line, we're not showcasing those skills, we're not achieving those goals, we're not able to uphold our end of the bargain, you and I, everyday American citizens, we'd be fired. We wouldn't have a job any longer. So why is it that we don't hold our political officials to the exact same standard? We give them 4 years to get their shit in check, and the majority of the time, they don't reach an ounce of what they promised to us. And we're just oh yeah, They lied. Politicians, politically make a bunch of promises, they don't uphold it. Yeah, that's just how the system works. Why is it that we allow the system to work that way? Government works for us. They're literally paid from our tax dollars. You know that, rest, they do not have a job. Yes, obviously, our deductions for taxes are made automatically for the majority of us, at least W-2 employees. But why is it that we continue to allow them to take the money that you and I work for, right? Like we clock at 9, we clock out at 5. That's money that you and I put our time and effort into. And we're just like, yep, go ahead, take 30% of our paycheck at minimum. Fuck California, sometimes 50%. But hey, I'm just to you for free. I know that you said you were going to do this and you're not living up to it, but it's okay. Continue to take it year over year, decade over decade, totally fine. And we don't do anything about it. At what point do we just stop? At what point do we say enough is enough? You need to work for us again because you're literally stealing my money and you're not doing anything and giving us anything in return. I'm sick of it. I don't know if you guys are sick of it, but I'm fucking sick of it. Either give me my money back for the promises that you never kept, or start upholding your end of the bargain. Because right now, my taxes are not working for me. I'm not getting that 30% back in benefits every year. It ain't happening. It's not working. And it's not even going to American citizens. Jesus fuck, the system needs to change. And if it doesn't change, then we need to make it change.
Jeez. That's a lot. All what she said is I gotta be honest, I'm with her. There's gonna be change for sure. But I think in order to make that change, start with circle, right? Control what you can control primarily within your own circle. And then after that, if things still are not working, or it still seems like we're battling an uphill climb or battle, then take it a step further, right? Look for local or municipal positions to where you can make a difference within your own reach in your own region, and then just escalate after that. It feels like this is kind of the ground starting of this kind of getting office, because the main points that she hit, I mean, it's coming from the heart. It's facts for her. She's just speaking her mind, but she's hitting on so many points, and it's resonating with a lot of people. Anyway, let's go to the comments. The thing is, taxes were only supposed to be temporary, but when people got greedy and kept the IRS. So now, here we are in a modern day paying more taxes than people can't afford nowadays. I'm sick of it. The IRS has to go. Exactly. The main reason we need term limits is because too many voters are too lazy to hold politicians accountable and vote them out. I think it's time to stop. I'm sick and tired of being illegally taxed on everything multiple times. We're taxed upon tax. Time for a tea party. That's what I was talking about earlier. Infrastructure in this country is falling apart everywhere. Healthcare can't pay for emergency surgeries or cancer treatment. Education, everything. Other than the truth or relevant information to succeed as adults, job takes almost 30% of paycheck. That 106 days worth of work for the government. We are at fault. We let this happen. All right, let's go to the next one.
You owe us money. Who's us? I'm sorry, who are you? I owe a lot of people money. The IRS. Oh, okay. Yeah, how much I owe you? No. What do you know? We can't tell you. Why not? I don't know. Just tell me how much I owe you. Take a guess. No, just tell me. You have to guess. Fine. $5,000. What? You mean uh-oh? No, oh. Jail. Why? You guessed wrong. You knew how much I owed you, but you made me guess, even though I would go to jail if I got it wrong. Jail time.
Comment down below, please. What is the percentage of folks that actually go to jail for getting their taxes wrong? I mean, if you get it wrong, they'll send you like an audit, they'll tell you, hey, you owe this much, or hey, you overpaid, hence here's the refund. So I don't know the actual ratio of folks going. I know if you don't file for taxes, yeah, you'll likely go to jail if you don't pay it for a certain amount of time. But there's also, payment plans. If you cannot pay it all up front, all at once, there are payment plans, installments with the government. But I'm curious the ratio of folks that actually have gone to jail because of these types of situations. All right, let's go through the comments. Point of view, you don't understand taxes. Gonna start living in the woods. Wait, so how do you know how much to pay them? That's why I don't pay taxes. Still find it crazy that income tax was only supposed to be in effect of war. Wow. Yeah, I love my country, but I hate my government. Our tax system sucks. Can't believe America was made due to bad taxes, and here we are. All right, let's go to the next one.
Hear me out. You work for an entire year. You pay 24% federal tax, 5% state tax. That's 29% tax already. 29% of the year is 106 days. You're literally working 106 days for free before you even make $1 for your family. That's about how many days politicians actually work. Go to work, taxed. Save your money, taxed. 401k, taxed. Pension, taxed. Buy a car, taxed. Drive that car, taxed. Put gas in that car, extra taxed. Buy a home, taxed. Want to sell a home, taxed. You want to eat some food, taxed. Want a little drinky drink, taxed. Go fishing, taxed. Want to go shopping, taxed. Invest, taxed. Inherit, taxed. Die, you guessed it, taxed. And for what? To fund illegal migrants, foreign wars, and families scamming the system? Please! It seems we're in the land of the taxed and the home of the freeloaders. I think it might be time to spill some tea or something again.
There you go. Man, she got some strong legs. All them squats. Woo! Good workout. Watching that video for her. All right, let's go to the comments on this one. I turned on my ghost box in a cemetery the other day and asked, how did you pass away? I got a response saying I was taxed to death. Texas doesn't have state tax, and when homeowners turn 65, their property taxes don't go up any higher. There you go. The first question of the government should be, how can we make things better for our citizens instead of how it is, how we hacks that. Yeah. 3 cents worth of tea tax is what caused the first Tea Party that led to the revolution. Wow. Talk about inflation. I wonder what that 3 cents would be today. Yikes. All right, let's go to the next video.
Why the fuck do I owe over $2,000 in motherfucking taxes? I need an explanation because this is the first time in my 26 years of life that I gotta pay motherfucking taxes. And I thought I did something wrong. I have tried website after website. I sold $2K in taxes. Oh my god, I'm about to lose my shit. I'm gonna lose my shit because I have until April 15th to come up with that money. Mind you, I move out March 7th, right? And before I move out, I gotta pay them $1,700 motherfucking dollars. You gotta pay for the rent, the internet. Our security deposit's $500. I got my couch. I still owe $1,800. I just bought my coffee table. That's about $600. My entertainment center is about $1,000. And I gotta pay $2K. And I gotta buy my ticket to Colorado next month. Why the?
There you go. I would simply call that adulting. Welcome. That's what it is. You might want to check out your W-4. Most people don't know how to fill out their W-4, but that's actually what contributes to your taxes during your pay period or your paycheck. Over withholding versus under to entitle you to a refund when you file your taxes, or you have to pay. Why some people get the big refunds and others, it's exactly because of the withholding on your W-4. Also depends on if you have dependents, right? If you have older adults you have to care for, or just adults that need caring, children, adopted children, dependents, whatever that classifies as in the IRS government nowadays, but that can also help out. And, a refund isn't real money. It's your money coming back just later. So you're just giving more money to the government throughout the year based on, however you do your tax just went over. But if you do it correctly, there should be zero when you file your taxes, meaning, government, I don't owe you anything because I've been making my payments to you throughout the year based on my withholdings on my W-4. you're a W-2 worker, or if you're a business owner, or however else you're earning your income, you've allocated and paid as appropriate throughout the year to avoid a payment, right? Or a refund because throughout the year you've utilized that cash instead of just giving it to the government to hold for you and pay you back later. All right, let's go to the comments. CPA here, you need to update your W-4. That's exactly what I was talking about. Correctly to make sure the right amount of taxes are taken out throughout the year. Creator, but what is the right amount? I start my new job in a week and I have no idea how much to take out. So this doesn't happen again. Oh, Stanley here. Stanley iMoney and Taxes. There you go. Shout out to him. Use the IRS withholding calculator. Just Google that and that should be the first link. Or you can check out the tax template I created, which will help. Link in his bio. There you go. Nice plug for you there, sir. They said I made too much last year. Now I make $31,000, bro. Lie again. Too much. Play around with the TurboTax and see if you can lower your taxable income with contributing to an IRA. I went from owing to a refund by contributing to retirement. There you go. All right, I'll read one more. 2 years ago, I only got back $2 and almost owed. I had zero on my dependents, or I had zero dependents. I learned you have to put more money in tax withholdings throughout the course of the year to avoid this. There you go. Everybody's situation is different, but in his case, he got $2. It worked out for him. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I learned some things on here. Got to see somebody crash out paying or understanding to pay taxes for the first time. But hopefully you found some value with this video. If you did, consider subscribing. As always, thank you for your attention. We'll see you on the next video.